Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another indie comic book review. In this review, we are reviewing books that were released on June 11th, 2014. Guys, there are 11 digital books, one book from not this week, and then we got 4 or 5 digital, I think we have 4 physical.
Yeah,
Yes, 4 physical. So, as always, we start with the book that did not come out this week, and that is Argo Comics Anthology, issue number 6. Now, you guys might remember issue number 6. We did make mention of issue number 6 during one of my reviews with Argo 5. We were introduced to the Paladins, and Dan actually sent us this issue before he started sending us Argo Anthology to give us a little bit of background on the Paladins. So, we've already read one of the 3 stories. 2 other stories in this involve Team Machine, which is a story, and oh god, why did the Death Squad? But not the Death Squad we've been talking about. The Reserve Team.
Right.
So, to be honest, guys, the Paladins is basically a rundown of all the characters and how they came to become the Paladins.
With the Merlin.
How they were selected. So basically, it's an origin of Basically, it's an origin for each character. The same thing goes for the Death Squad Reserve, basically.
Which is the 3rd story.
Which is the 3rd story. A soldier, I forget, a new general, was it? Or was it a...
It was a general that was talking about the Reserve Death Squad, like...
and then they're too psychotic to be...
to
even be Death Squad, right.
Right. So basically...
He doesn't have access to them, right.
Exactly. So then he was just giving a rundown of... the characters and who they are about and all that other stuff.
So basically another character rundown. So those 2 stories are basically origin for characters and background stories for characters.
But you know what? It's interesting though, because if there are new readers out there who don't know who these teams are, this is actually a great jumping on point for all of you guys to know about the team and who they are, so when you read issues further of that story, then you'll get a better understanding of the character, which is actually what I liked about this book for other readers out there.
I like the origin of the Paladins. The Death Squad Reserve was an interesting origin, but the Paladins definitely stood out to me. And then Teen Machine, which is the 2nd story, really stood out to me. This is Teen Machine. Teen Machine basically just finished putting away some baddies, and then out of nowhere, this other group of teen superheroes called the Justice Teens show up. And it turns out that, oh god, Bolt, I want to make sure I have his name. It is Bolt, right? I want to make sure. Bolt's father was part of the Victory.
No, his grandfather was part of the Victory.
Was it the grandfather?
I remember. Basically, like, his grandfather was part of the team, and then,
No, it's Night Ranger's grandfather, who was part of the Victory Brigade.
Right, that's what I was saying, the grandfather.
And of course, again, mentions of Megamax. I'm hoping at some point we get to see a Megamax story.
Yeah.
Hopefully Dan will go back in time in the Argo universe and give us some Megamax, because I hear talk about it. I saw him in Argo 5, and then now he's gone for good.
Yeah.
I need to see some background story with Megamax, like a full-fledged comic on Megamax now. But anyway, they want to bring Bolt. They want Bolt to join their team and leave the Teen Machine, because basically his legacy, his parent, his father, and all the legacies of all the other teams, basically they're destined to become the next Victory Brigade. So that's why Bolt's brought in, not because he's, you know, an experienced hero, not because he's done anything, just because of his parents or his bloodline. And at some point, there's a little bit of a fight that breaks out
after that little insult that one of the teams said.
Yeah, the Justice Teens were insulting, basically, Teen Machine.
Right. And
push came to shove, and it became a really awesome fight. But in the end, I love how Bolt said, I want to get to that page. You know, you were right. My grandfather used to say, never start a fight, you can't finish. A lesson Slingshot should have learned before he started this whole fight.
And he couldn't, and that it's not definitely victory beret material.
He said no matter what,
material.
he says if today indicates anything, it's that you guys will never become the next victory brigade. And I thought that was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I liked the action in it, and I liked the cockiness of the Teen Justice compared to Teen Machine. Because remember when we were introduced to Teen Machine, the first story we saw with Teen Machine was more of a comedy, kind of like extra story in the middle, and it was more of a kind of like relief story. This was a more serious tone story, and I liked it. I again love how Dan introduced us to even more characters between the Death Squad Reserve and the
Paladins.
No, we knew the Paladins already, and the
you mean the Team Machine?
Teen Justice.
Team Machine.
The Justice Teens. No.
The Justice Teens. Wait, you mean the new one?
The Justice Teens, yes.
Oh,
the new
these,
stuff.
yeah, the Justice Teens, yeah. My head's just going different.
Teen Machine we were already introduced to before.
Oh, you're talking about the new one.
Right.
Okay.
How Dan introduced newer characters. I mean, even though it was an origin and then Teen Machine, Dan still found a way to introduce us to new characters, not only with the Justice Teens, but also with the Reserve. So it gives us a little bit of this could happen if, let's say, something happens to Death Squad. So there are a ton of characters that we've been introduced to from Argo Anthology issue 1 all the way through to now. I feel like Dan's introduced us to a gigantic world, world of heroes.
Absolutely.
A whole universe worth of potential and stories, whether it be team stories or solo hero stories. There's so much potential with all the characters in this universe that sky's the limit, honestly. If Dan wanted, he could run with all these characters, and I would say there's a lot of interesting team books that can come out of not only Argo Anthology, but other books that Dan's done, like Argo 5. And there's potential for even solo characters.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential, and if you guys are interested, like I said, it's called Argo Anthology. You can go on argocomics.com. That's ARGO comics.com. I hope you know how to spell comics. And the listing of all the books are there. I would definitely recommend starting actually with Argo Anthology. I love Argo 5, but I would definitely recommend starting with Anthology so it gives you a taste of everything in the universe. And then jump into Argo 5, and then if you want some little goo-goo gaga fun, kind of like what Mike likes,
that's
I would definitely
fun and Sorority of Power.
There you go. And then there's also a new comic book that Dan's doing called Pickle Man, which I'm actually interested in seeing that. That looks like it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. And as always, the artwork is fantastic, and there is pinups also in this that
at the end of the book. Yes.
Yeah, there were actually some really interesting ones that really caught my eye.
With Death Squad, I felt like as they were running through each character, it was basically the page had potential for a pinup as well.
Yeah, from what I saw, like definitely, I really like the team pinups that I see, or with a solo character, but really great, amazing stuff in this.
So absolutely 5 out of 5. I think Dan's created an amazing universe with the characters.
This was actually my favorite book.
Yeah, you were telling me book of the week from all the books.
But it wasn't for this.
It wasn't from this week's camp. Good book in general.
In general, that's
a highly recommended.
That's the word I was looking for.
A highly recommended book, I would definitely say.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Definitely something to check out, guys. We've been reading a bunch of Argo books. We've been doing one a week for the past 3-4 months now. I mean, we've done Argo 5, Sorority of Power, and Anthology. I mean, we've been going.
I'm looking forward to the next Sorority of Power issue.
I'm looking forward to whatever Dan has
also
scheduled
his
next.
other works too, but that one also because yeah.
You guys can also follow his Facebook page. It's on Argo Comics. I'm sure there'll be a link to the Facebook page. Follow that. Dan's always updating news on what's coming up or what's going on with Argo Comics. Definitely something to look into. It's a pleasure to read each and every week.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we don't run out of books, but I have a feeling very soon we are going to be running out of old books, and then it's all about waiting for the next new book. So now we're going into the week of June 11th. We got lots of physical copies. And again, this is Michael's week. I literally only have, I believe, 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 5 that I could
We have to go up
discuss.
6.
Maybe 6 if we count that
Alright,
bottom
well,
one, but that's about it.
yeah,
The
but
rest
let's
is all
get
Mike.
to the physical copies. Hinterkine issue number 8 from Vertigo Comics. So, in this issue, we find out that, you know, the whole thing of what happened, where, the doctor with, a troll and an angel, basically, Starla, like how they were, trapped due to, these, people who wanted to, kill them. So, they do find them, you know, like when they get into the building. So, the doctor says that I surrender, just take me to your leader. And here's some artwork, by the way, which is really, drawn very nice, like as always. So, John takes, oh, I can't remember her name for the life of me. Like, basically he takes her to, the, house where they are full of, ogres that, take care of her. And, you know, like, they like, basically just treat them, you know, as if, they're their own, you know. And, there's, like, lots of dialogue about, who they are and, you know, what they're about, but, lots of, blood and gores, in this, comic book. And then they talk about, like, new villains. And it goes to California, where it talks about, the daughter. And if you want to read about that, you could definitely, look into this comic book. Because there was, like, oh, what time limit right now. There was, like, so much that, happened in this comic book. And in the end, someone knows about, who actually went after the other team. But, I tell you guys, like, every time I look at this comic book, like, I just say, like, this is, really, starting to get very interesting. Including John's character as well, but, yeah, lots of stuff. I just can't remember that girl's name for the life of me. Probably remember after the review. From, also Vertigo Comics, Coffin Hill issue number 8. Kind of, it's a new story arc. But to be honest, I think it's kind of dwindling. Sort of. In that sense. It goes to December 2012, where, now, Officer Coffin is now a police officer and goes on an investigation of, Ice Fisher. And I want to just show some artwork. They go, like, back and forth in time, where, she goes along with her friends in the haunted house, basically, and they meet up with some demons and stuff like that. Artwork's a little bit dark, but it's fine. And, you know, it goes to where she's in Dorchester, giving, pills to, one of her friends. I believe her name was, some, like, I think her name was, Sam, probably. But, I am so bad with names. My apologies. So, yeah, so they're just doing an investigation of, like, the symbol that they saw in the eye, and they're just trying to find out what that symbol means, and it's up to her to find out, what it is, because she's a witch, and she knows this kind of stuff. So, there's this one guy who's looking for Nate, who's going to be a real, big part in the book, and then it's just all wound up with her ending up in jail. So, I don't know, like, that ending was a little bit confusing, but, I don't know. It's just
Starting to wind down.
It's starting to wind down. If it starts winding down more, I'm probably going to drop it. Archie Comics Sonic the Hedgehog, Waves of Change Part 2 of issue number 261, where Sonic and the gang meet up with these new people.
Nude?
I said new people. Oh, haha, very funny. And,
They're knocking.
basically, it's Captain Stryker, the Man of Shrimp, and the City Guard. Don't you dare say a word.
The Man of Shrimp! Is Mr. Pickles in this?
No.
Aw.
No Professor Pickles.
But there's the man of shrimp.
Anyway, they enter their, you know, like their, a territorium or whatever it is, like
Can I just
their
say-
territory.
Can I just say, I love Sonic.
Yeah.
He always has somebody to laugh at.
And basically, they take them back to Meropis Underwater City to the King and Queen because they didn't release the Chow yet, and the King and Queen are very displeased about it. And they're real total jerks in this comic book, and they, you know, leave the person who was in charge of it, like she gets released because of that. Well, the Aquarius, I believe it's called. So, and then they're saying, you know, you need her, but they said that she didn't do her job, so basically they're going to try to find someone else that can do it. So, there are these things in the water that come out, like, at the middle of the night that are basically like this. Here's some more artwork.
They're like this.
And, it's going to be a long night for Sonic and the gang to fight off these monsters. And then the second storyline, The Dark Part 2, is where they find the Chaos Emerald, one of them. Well, Tails finds it. And they run into a little bit of trouble in the end. Along with some other stuff that I do not want to spoil in this issue because I want to leave that up to you guys to read. So, definitely look into that. And for the kids as well. And the physical book of the week that I would say from Image Comics, The Walking Dead, issue number 128. This new team that joined The Walking Dead is, the girl there is really
You mean
strong.
that joined Rick?
That joined Rick, yeah. I just don't like the part where Carl is talking with Negan still in the beginning. But that's just a little bit of talk, so... Rick and Eugene have a long conversation with each other about, you know, how Eugene has trouble talking with women and stuff like that, so Rick tries to help him out. Meanwhile, Maggie, I think her name is, she interviews one of the groups, and they kind of really don't get along very well, because she's just like writing keynotes to find out about them. It's in black and white, by the way, but...
It's always
doesn't matter,
black and white.
but it doesn't matter to me because the story is what matters the most. And Rick gives Carl what he wants to be, like what he said in the last issue, so he finally gives it to him. Like right here. So, yeah, so meanwhile that, when the team, the new team that joined Rick's team get together, she just thinks, you know, the leader of that team, like saying these people are hiding some and we're going to find it because they didn't get their weapons back yet. And that's being a jerky move right there because he just offers you to be with them, you know, that there's a zombie apocalypse going on and all of a sudden you're questioning them. I want to go in there and slap her, like slap her head, like going, what's the matter with you?
I don't know, what's the matter with you?
You know, maybe with this comic book, what's the matter? But beside the point, this is a 5 out of 5 book.
What's the matter, you stupid girl? See, I slapped her head there.
Check it out for adult readers, because they are swearing also.
Lots of swearing.
Yeah. And now with all the flipping books and everything, would you kindly go to the digital now?
Okay, and the first digital book is yours. We're going to start with Dynamite. Ash and the Army of Darkness, issue number 8. The ending to this book was, well, we knew it was coming because of the solicitations for the book.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was kind of like, it still kind of was a wow factor, the ending.
But in this comic issue, Ash is fighting the two demons, one that wanted to chop off his head.
The one that's a copy of himself and his girlfriend. Yeah. I forgot her name.
Sheila. Yeah.
Right.
So they have a big fight, and you know, it's Ash versus Sheila in this comic issue after a whole big.
And it's basically most of the book.
It is so dark, this issue, but it's in a good way dark because of the fight scene with the chainsaw he uses and everything. And then when the sun came out, that released the demon. You know, spirit that was in Sheila's body. So she awakens after thinking Ash thought that she was dead, but she wasn't. She was alive, and she has an arm now for a sword.
Yeah, she lost her hand in the book
because she lost her hand during the battle. So after they bathe and do everything else, yada yada yada, Ash asks her a really important question, and get this because this is going to be a huge spoiler if you haven't read this book. Because at the end of this issue, Ash asks Sheila to marry him. Well, proposes to marry him. And I was so shocked. I mean, of course she said yes, but I was like, wow. Like, hail to the king baby right there. Moment. But, yeah, it's going to be, I'm just surprised it's the end. Unless they come out with another story arc, which I hope so, because I really enjoyed reading Ash and the Army of Darkness. Really great book.
And then finally from Dynamite we have a #1, and it is The Blood Queen. It's written by Troy Brownfield, who you'll know. I want to make sure I said his name right now. I believe I did. Yeah, Brownfield. He also is the writer for Zenescope's Clash of Queens.
Yeah, I know.
Just to note, for those of you that are wondering why I threw his name out for this book. It's because we really love Clash of Queens. Blood Queen was a really interesting read. At first, when I started reading this, I thought I wasn't going to be too into this book.
Yeah, with the beginning stuff, that was a little
too bloody.
graphic.
Well, it's called The Blood Queen. No, It just didn't seem like anything was really going anywhere. But then towards the middle to end of the book, that's where things, for me at least, picked up. A lot of the, dialogue in the beginning of the book was out of the way finally. You got to get introduced to the series. You get introduced to Elizabeth, or Lady Elizabeth as they call her.
I think Lady Elizabeth.
You get introduced to the knight, Sir Fernick, F-E-R-E-N-C, Ferrick.
Yeah, let's just
go with that. And he's sent by the king to go to this woman who is a sorceress because the king's daughter falls deathly ill. She chooses not to go because she's a very elderly woman, but she has another healer, Lady Elizabeth, who she sends in her stead. So they go, or she goes to the king. She makes a little bit of a lewd kind of forward, what's the word I'm looking for? Proposition, let's put it that way, to Sir Fernick, that's how you pronounce his name. That's left for later, though. But then she goes in front of the king, and the king basically allows her to look at his daughter and see what's going on. Elizabeth's worried that what's it called? The child is bewitched through blood magic, which blood magic is illegal, or it's been banished until obviously finding this out. She then concocts a remedy for the bewitching, the child being bewitched, and she lifts it through blood magic also. So Elizabeth knows blood magic, but then she says there was obviously somebody who was looking to hurt the king and his family. It leads them to, long story short, it leads them to the king's wizard's apprentice, and it turns out he's not one of many. Huge fight breaks out, and in the end, the king gives Elizabeth his thanks, but Elizabeth chooses to stay because obviously something bigger is going on. And then the last page I'm not going to give away. But as the book progressed, my interest in the story actually progressed. It really, awesome artwork, by the way, for this book. And it definitely grabbed me. A lot of Dynamite books, the only Dynamite books I read really are The Shadow, Ash and the Army of Darkness, The Spider. Whenever we get some pulp superheroes, Green Hornet. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air that I'm actually interested in something that isn't pulp superheroes. So it gives me some more stuff to read from Dynamite. I would definitely recommend checking out the first issue. I know Midtown has this thing right now with connecting covers for this and Vampirella issue #1. it's up to you guys if you want to get those variants. I think they're about $5 extra for those variants. But I'm definitely coming back for Blood Queen issue number 2. What did you think of the book? I know you read through it.
I really thought that it was, like, artwork was amazing. I thought the story had, like you said, the beginning was a little bit of a part, but when it got to the middle and especially the ending part, like, it really picked up in a great way, like, to give us readers, like, what to expect for, like, further issues and stuff like that. So that's what really sparked my interest when I read this book. Really good stuff.
And I feel we could do this in 2 minutes before we have to switch over, so let's do this. First time in a while, and hopefully we'll have more from this company, Aspen, Journey, issue number 1.
Yes.
I put the N before the R, so I was like Jinri, and I'm like, no, it's not Journey.
And in this comic book, it talks about the origin of Ara, and she is basically, this whole story is talking about her adventures of looking for her mother, because her mother was, you know, like, she's like the mother, like how she was, like, always, like, doing these, like, with the sword and stuff like that, like, she always, had, like, these, adventurous things where she fights against these mystical creatures and stuff like that. And she just talks about how she wants to search for her mother and ask her questions about the whole thing of what it is to become a warrior. That's what I was looking for, a warrior. So she finds this ship out of nowhere, and she has like a little bit of a fight with all of them. But there was this one person that comes out that actually... oh,
wow.
And he reminds me of Dante from Devil May Cry, the way he looks.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, because I looked at him like saying, is that Dante? And then I said, no, that's actually someone different. But she becomes one of them, and now she's a pirate. But also going on a journey for searching her mother.
I would like to say that Aspen Comics have very, very unique artwork for their comic books, and unique in a very good way. And this book was drawn beautifully, in my opinion. I'm looking through it now as you're explaining it, and the artwork for this book is spectacular. If not for the story, buy the book for the artwork just to enjoy it. It's really nice artwork. I know that Fathom is another book that I love the artwork in, and there was another book. Why can't I remember the other book? It's going to be coming next week, so we'll cover both books next week. But the artwork in the books from Aspen are second to none, amazing. So if for nothing more, buy the book for the artwork and enjoy some really, really, really nice artwork. And as the alarm's saying, give us just 2 seconds, and then we will continue with this week's books. Okay, we're back. And we are now in Dark Horse, and we only have one book from Dark Horse this week, and that is X Volume 2, issue number 14. How's the book going, Mike?
This book, from what I read in this part, was really amazing. In this comic book, he's going after the vigilantes who are after him, because his teammate who was once with him is, you know, working with another part of the agency, and she doesn't really like working with them based on, like, you know, the whole thing of what's been going on. Artwork is really drawn to I don't know if the artwork changed a little bit or if it looks the same, but
looks a little different.
Yeah, it looks a little different in a good way, is what I mean. So then with that, there's like this one scene where there was this guy who was tied up and stuff like that, and can't remember what his name was. Like, he comes up with these riddles and stuff like that, and X meets up with somebody who he has some questions for. If you want to find out about that, definitely read the comic book. It was really a bloody ending, let's just put it in those sense. So now, with all the commotion of what's going on, X calls out to one person that he wants to see after the whole gunshot and everything that happened. what was his name? Like he says in the end of, like you don't like right there. He calls out to Arkine. Like he tells the girl, "You tell the Arkine I'm waiting." So there's a lot of intense rivalry that's building up between X and the Arcane, or Archon, or however you say it.
Archon.
Archon.
I don't know.
Or however you say that, but that's really something that's looking forward to, definitely.
Right, and this is the last book outside of IDW, and this is a huge event that's going to be going on in Valiant, guys, for the next couple of months, and that is Armor Wars, and it starts right here in Armor Hunters issue number 1 with spectacular artwork. I will say that off the bat. So, what do you think of the issue?
To be honest, to make it brief, this issue was just about them going after the armor that Arak wears, because
Arak, yeah, they want his exo armor.
Yeah, but his homeland, you know, like remember when the woman says, you know, I'll give you peace if you do such and such. So she comes back again. Arak's like saying, "What the hell? I thought you told me that, you know, you weren't gonna harm them or anything, you know, because I did what you told me to do." So there was a emergency, an urgent emergency that deals with Arak, that this person wants his suit, because the suit is what actually makes a person feel, you know, very strong and everything. So there's a message that's being teleported from someone else, and they're saying, you know, about other stuff. And if you want to read about, definitely read the comic book, because it's too much that I don't want to give a spoiler away. But just to make it brief, they just want Arak's suit, and he doesn't want to give it away because that will lose his powers, and he won't be able to do the mission because he's doing these missions to do it for the people who he lives with.
And because he said no, some place is no longer there anymore.
Yeah. So
it's going to be huge. This event looks like it's going to be huge.
I have great expectations that this one's actually going to build up in a way like either something really good or something really bad is going to happen in the end, because it could go either way at this point.
But for a reader, it's really good. So it's definitely something I would recommend you guys check out. Valiant has covers, same price, same cover price. That'll be connecting all 12 parts to Armor War. Will connect, I think it's 3 top, 3 middle, and then 3 on the bottom, if I'm not mistaken. But all 12 issues are interlocking. You can get tons of different variants. Everything is basically cover price. I think only one or two others aren't. But for the most part, they keep their variants the same price.
Yes.
Just to make note. Now we're going into IDW. Yep. We're concluding with IDW, and I need to know your opinions on Angry Bird Comics issue number 1. I thought there was way too much. Angry Birds the game, the Angry Birds don't talk. I got through the first 2 pages with tons and tons of dialogue, and I said, you know what? It doesn't feel like Angry Birds anymore.
It doesn't, but it's actually funny. And why I thought it was a great issue, the 3 stories. Like the first story talks about the bomb bird, you know, the black one that when you throw the bomb bird, you know, he explodes and stuff like that. So I don't know their names, so I'm just gonna go by their type. Their type, really. So he has the hiccups, and every time he hiccups, it explodes. So the birds are trying to find a way to find ways for him to stop the hiccup and everything. And after that, the pigs started to get the hiccups after he got rid of them and stuff like that. So he was really funny. And then the second story, this is the green pigs. This isn't the monkeys for those of you that will play Angry Birds. This is about the green pigs. So in the second story arc, the green pigs are trying to build a house, and they are so bad with these instructions. Like he's like saying, no, we have to do this, and that. And those pigs, they're morons, I tell you. I mean, that's just my opinion, but it was really hilarious to see that, and that they finally built it, but not in the way of what was going on. And then the third and last story, when the birds got together, the pigs were invading them, but not in a way that was bad. It was actually good. Like, they were giving them candy, and the bird's like saying, wait a minute, there must be poison or something wrong here. You know, and the red bird actually pointed that out. And he's like saying, you know, the candy's making everyone hate each other. Like, why? Because there was this paper that showed about, you know, this one's going to do this to you, and oh, that one's going to do that. And they were going after the eggs still. The pigs, so they were still doing bad things, but then in the end they said, you know, we should have never, you know, believed in those pigs of what they said, because they're no good and we know who we are and we stick together. So in my opinion, Chris, I thought the book was really good, even though the birds don't
glad the
talk.
kids will like it.
Yeah, even though the birds don't talk, which I agree with you on, at least it was something enjoyable for me to read. That's what I think.
Really quickly, I'm going to walk away from the kid books just 2 seconds, or the cartoon books for 2 seconds. I just want to throw out Godzilla. It's basically just called Godzilla, the IDW era. Basically, this book is $3.99, and it'll give you basically every story and rundown, because the Godzilla movie was recently came out in theaters, so it was released. So IDW basically made this book, which gives you a rundown of every single Godzilla book that's come out from IDW. Kingdom of Monsters, which then leads into Gangsters and Goliaths, which then leads into, oh god, what was this one called?
Some of the artwork's really, really good.
Oh yeah. Which leads into Legends.
Yep.
Which then leads into the Half-Century War, which was the one that was taking place just before the current one, which is Rulers of Earth. You get some awesome artwork, awesome cover arts. They show you all the different covers, concept arts,
I like that
variants,
picture right there.
everything. And they give you a background on what each story is. Something for those of you that are interested in checking out some of the Godzilla books that are from IDW. I've read 2 series so far. I'm still reading Rulers of Earth. I read the Half-Century War, which took place, which was the story arc before this. Awesome stuff. I love the Godzilla books. I would definitely recommend checking out at least the current story that's going on right now. It's really good. Yes. You have something over here, by the way. Other side, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So now we're going back into the books, and let's continue with this one. Rocky and Bullwinkle, issue number 4. I believe there's only 1 issue left. I think it's a 5-issue mini.
Oh no, you don't.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Don't tell me that if that's the truth or not. But yeah. So in this one, Rocky and Bullwinkle issue, it is about hamburgers. It starts off where Boris comes up with this brand new hamburger that, and we don't know what it's about yet. And Bullwinkle makes his own hamburgers from his grandmother. So Boris's hamburgers, every time they eat them, these people blow up to be like, you know, because they want to take over America, and with them being blown up, they can't move or do anything. So Bullwinkle actually bumped into a food critic that actually smelled his burgers, and they taste really good. So when he started giving it to the people who were bloated, they started to be, you know, regular size again because of the moose berries that was the secret recipe to the burgers. And they want to give them like their own restaurant and everything. And Boris and Natasha heard about it, and, you know, we must kill moose and squirrel, like we've heard that so many times. If I had a nickel. Then it goes into the
Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah, we go into Dudley Do-Right of that, and basically it's just Dudley Do-Right. There's no crimes and everything. So this woman actually goes to Whiplash with, you know, to set Dudley Do-Right, you know, a thing to go to the bank for him, and it was basically to steal the money, which Dudley Do-Right didn't know about. And when he goes to Whiplash saying, you told me to do so, he's like saying, I don't remember anything, I don't know this guy. So he gets thrown in jail, and yeah. That's basically the long and short of it that I can give the best, so yeah, really something else.
So then we go back to Rocky and Bullwinkle.
We go back to Rocky and Bullwinkle, where Bullwinkle's helping out by giving them that, and then Boris, being in his disguise, says, hey, this and that, so, and he has like a ticking bomb that could get rid of moose and squirrel from what he says. And there's this guy, Morgal? I can't remember his name. He basically offers them. No, no. It's the guy that you see right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he offers them the mooseberries, the moguls. Yeah, moguls mooseberry Bush Burgers. Yeah, Bush Burgers restaurant, and it would be more than one. So instead of them using mooseberries, they would use artificial stuff. And then Bullwinkle says, "No, I will not do that because my grandma's recipe was always to use mooseberries." And his grandmother actually comes in to say how happy he was. But guess what? Bullwinkle's Burgers makes people grow antlers. And then after that, then they said, you know what, we're not going to do the whole thing. I mean, Boris and Natasha get with the ticking bomb. And basically they all live happily ever after. For this issue. So,
and that's the end.
And that's the end. But after reading that, that's my second favorite book of the week. Absolutely must read. Even for the kids.
Alright, so next is Dexter's Laboratory, issue number 3. And this is the one where Dexter now is trying to get his sister back.
And this was actually by artist Ryan Jamble, which I actually interviewed in the recent special edition NYC New York City Comic Convention. So, you know, but I've been reading this all along anyway. So, yeah. So, Dexter's in Dee Dee's mind, you know, an imagination place where he meets up with Lily and Nini, I think that's their names, and they're saying, "Don't you know me? I'm Dexter," and then they don't know him because he's
Lily and Mimi, yeah.
Yeah, Lily and Mimi, yeah. So they take him hostage to the higher control, which is Princess Dee Dee, with this other guy that she was with. And, you know, Dex saying, "Do you know me? I'm your brother." And Dee says, "I never knew you, and your device here, I'm not going to push the button because I don't believe in science. We don't do science where we are." So they take him away, and he's remembering all the good times that they had with each other. So he's going to try to find a way to make her push that button, because when she pushes the button, they could go back to where Dexter had a sister and everything else. So he's trying to find every which way to do that. So either Lily or Nini, I don't know who it was, gave him back the portal device to break out of the prison. You know, just to see what's going on. So there's this little dust that actually was a princess at one time that wants to help him out, like saying, you know, like that gives him a bag of sand. And he says basically just sprinkle it all over her, and then everything could probably go back to normal, because she wants to be princess again, and she got dethroned because her imagination dream when she entered was more powerful than hers. So he's helping Dexter so she could get her throne back, basically. And let's just say the next one, Dexter, is in a lot of deep doo-doo in punishment-wise. And I wouldn't want to be in his shoes for that situation, but once again, another great read for the kids out there as well.
Now we're getting into the more mature books. You didn't know this was the last issue, but
I did not know, and I'm very upset about this. The Crow, issue number
4. It's called Pestilence. The Crow Pestilence, issue number 4.
And in this comic issue, the Crow finds out a lot of information in this comic issue. Like, we know more about the Crow and why he is the way he is, being the Crow. And he goes to this woman, I can't remember what her name was, and she does these things to the Crow, and the Crow's trying to read her memories, and he does do so where she was with this guy, and she was doing things that weren't so pleasant, and they had a child as well. So one of the guys that come in want to kill the Crow from past issues, and he winds up killing them, but not the woman, because the guy that comes in the issue is actually the son of the mother, and Crow is their father.
Well, before he became the Crow.
Before he became the Crow. And there's just so much blood and so much action in the comic book, and the artwork's really great. And the Crow, really, he managed to take out the whole gang, you know, one by one, with his martial arts powers and everything, and it winds up in a blood pool. So now, after that, he asks his brother to take care of who was once his wife and once his son, because he still he's still alive by judgment.
Right. Once his judgment's done, he's gonna pass. He's gonna pass.
Right. So basically, you get a little bit more about the character as well. But even though this is,
series.
I really hope there's a next story arc to this, because I really enjoyed reading The Crow with all that. And this is the last one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finally, this week, Star Mage, issue number 3.
And in Star Mage, we found out in the last issue where the boy was going to be killed by the king because of what happened in the last issue. If you want to know, read the last issue. So the guy's trying to show him, like, years ago, there was this guy, Orlus, I don't know what his name is. He basically wanted to be the new king, that because the other king was going to retire. So he wanted to take over, and he's not on their side. He's on the other people's side. So he's kind of like a bad guy, and there was his brother, too, that he went against. So he went against his father and his brother, kind of like in Thor with Loki. I went after, you know, it's kind of like that in similarities terms. But going back to this comic book, so it really gets like really intense where the guy's showing the kid this from what happened in the past, just to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like saying, you know, like, why would he dethrone that? And he did that because he did it for his wife and his son, because they were from a different planet. They didn't come from Earth. Well, the mother and father, that were his real mother and father, didn't come from Earth. They came from a different planet. So he's still trying to learn magic and everything, and he meets up with this new girl that shows him around and stuff like that. And she has like bunny ears and stuff like that, and she explains about it. And there's like a whole long dialogue of that where he goes to school to learn about magic and stuff, you know, just to basically open things, you know. So he meets up with Orlus from the different world, and let's just say at the end of this comic issue, there is someone that the child sees and he cannot believe this person did that. And if you want to know who it is, read the comic book.
That's a shocker.
That is a shocker. So if you want to know what that shocker is, just read the book. I can't spoil it because it is. You just got to read the book. It's just too much of a spoiler to give it away.
Alright guys, and that's it.
Yep.
Feel free to leave comments below. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. We love all, and we will be answering or commenting on your guys' comments next week on the weekly comic book haul. Also, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Look forward to the Street Fighter Summer, which will be starting the first week of July. It's going to be crazy awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
And hopefully, the big 2 reviews will both be on time, both on Monday, morning and or afternoon/night. And yeah, so until then, guys, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys in the next review. Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.